So right here you can see actually a moment where Bobby's kind of having a tough time, right? They want to kill this last zombie and finish it off, but shooting the zombie right there sets off George Romero. So you kind of have to be careful because now Bobby's far away from water, and so if they're going to be chased up here, it's going to be bad times.
And I've seen too, as you get a little bit further and further into the waves, he gets faster and faster too, right?
Yeah, from what I've seen, yeah, he's pretty much always on you. You know, they definitely put the pressure on as things progress.
Cool. All right. Elite Legend 360 says, does a George Romero zombie summon zombies to do his bidding when you start spraying him with bullets?
So we're gonna stay
No,
up here,
I haven't seen that. From what I've seen, pretty much what happens is there's a shockwave that crosses the screen, you know, kind of slowing and blinding you. Then his appearance changes and he looks more like a zombie rather than the kind of like possessed version that he looks when he's just walking around slowly. And then he speeds up significantly and he swings his camera light at you, and every time he hits you, it does some damage. It doesn't do as much as, say, a zombie hitting you, but it slows you down. So if he freaks out, he can very much so tie up your group, and all of a sudden you're surrounded in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, it's almost the same thing.
Yeah.
And for everyone just tuning in, we are live streaming Call of the Dead, the new zombie map from the Escalation map pack for Call of Duty Black Ops. And we're taking your questions too, so be sure to send out a tweet to @IGN, #BlackOps, and we'll be digging through what you guys want to know about this map as we go. So far we've dug into a lot about George Romero, who's chasing around the whole level, and on to the next, because there's a lot to learn. Okay, we've got a great question, simple, and really to the point. Riot Paramore 97 asks, is the map pack worth buying?
So, I mean, I guess that depends what sort of, like, how much of a Call of Duty player you are. I mean, you know, for the zombies and stuff, you know, if you're a really, really, really hardcore zombies player, this is a pretty different map from what you've seen before. You know, it has a lot of character to it that I think could sell a lot of people, but more importantly, on top of that, you get these other normal multiplayer maps that I think are, you know, are going to prove to be great over time. Now, is it worth $15? Well, I think, you know, that's subjective. So.
Yeah, and for anyone who is wondering, the map pack with this Call of the Dead zombie map also includes 4 maps: Hotel, Zoo, Convoy, and Stockpile. And if you check the Call of Duty Black Ops videos on IGN, we actually just posted some gameplay with you know, some kills and running through the levels, where you can check those out to see what you'll have in addition to Call of the Dead that we're checking out right now. So, now that we're in the middle of it, you'll notice in the lower left, like all the other zombie maps, the team's already on round 6. And what level did you say people had gotten up to or claimed to, at least on the boards?
Is currently the internet highest from what I've heard. So right now what they're doing is they just cleared some obstructions and they're heading towards the power. So you need to, like the other zombie levels, you know, reactivating the power is kind of a big deal. Reactivating, the power gives you access to things, you know, the perks. It gives you access to the Pack-a-Punch machine to upgrade your weapons. And it actually gives you access to one of the new perk machines, which is called a Deadshot Daiquiri. And so you can go to that machine, take it, and then basically every time you look down the iron sights like Bobby just did, it automatically snaps to headshots.
And you may have noticed, we'll give a shout out to our Call of Duty Black Ops community member who has joined the IGN team here. It looked like the name, gamertag's a nameless Jedi, so we're naming him here, but you know, we'll move on from there. To jump into some more questions, Max Cruz asks, can you get the machetes and pitchforks and so on, like in the trailer? I think we kind of covered that a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like the map's so full of secrets. Maybe way down the waves, something like that can happen, but so far...
From what I've seen, I think that was very much more something they were doing to make a really cool trailer than something that was actually going to be a feature of this level.
And Titanic Wang, of all names, asks, can you unlock the music in the game that's featured in the trailer?
Yeah, so apparently there are meteorites around the level, and finding these meteorites unlocks the hidden track, which is, I think it's called...
That was gorgeous right there.
Not the Day to Die, I forget the exact name, but it's by Avenged Sevenfold. It's a new song. So yeah, there is definitely a way through the level finding chunks of meteorites from what I've seen that unlocks.
Like we're saying, you know, so many secrets, and it's going to be probably days.
The zombie levels are famous for all the crazy things they hide in them. You know, whether it's just a small thing on a desk you can interact with. So, I mean, I think that over the coming days, I'm sure IGN will have more and more videos, whether up on our site and on our YouTube channel, that will, you know, highlight some of the secrets that are being uncovered.
Yeah, I know we've been around here playing the game since we were able to download it this morning, and it's probably not going to stop for at least till more's discovered about these kind of things, and we can actually answer these questions. So,
how you get over there?
Digging a little further, Zerstoren69. Sorry, I do that and ended up with a little bit of a German accent there when I say things that feel like they're German. Anyway. Can you choose your character, or is it chosen at random?
From what I've seen, it's always chosen at random. Every time they jump in, you just kind of get assigned as one of the four of them. Which, I mean, maybe that sucks for people that don't want to play as a girl or something like that. But in my opinion, all the characters are really cool.
Yeah.
And they all have great voice acting. Danny Trejo, it's all breaking the third wall, the fourth wall. I mean, it's like, Danny Trejo will make a comment when you pick up double points and be like, what does double points mean? So, but I think it's, not being able to pick your character, I guess, kind of sucks if you really, really wanted to play as Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street, but I don't really think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. The few times I've started around, everyone's kind of running around looking at each other just because they want to know, wait, who am I? All the different characters.
Yeah.
So there's definitely kind of banter between the characters and that kind of self-reflexive element where they're talking about, scoring and things that are running through the level. And so if you look now, not to point him out specifically, but Bobby happens to be down at the moment, hoping for
I got left.
He got left behind.
I got left behind.
And it's tough. I mean, this is the kind of level where there's so many routes and pathways that, whenever you're blinking.
Teach me how to do the.
I mean, it is an much more open level, and because there's so much fast, movement across it, you really do have to pay attention in this one to kind of communicate where everyone is going on the move. Otherwise, it's super easy to get left behind because, like I said, you don't just find a room and hole up in it.
It sucks.
Now, we've seen from a few different unlocks already in what these guys have played so far that you can go into the ship towards the power, but there's also this tower with the spiral staircase inside.
Yeah, and now
what seems to be the difference between those two areas of the level?
Yeah, so going up in the ship, that's where you turn on the power, and a lot of the perks, like the Juggernog and all the other drinks that you would take to get perks are actually, a lot of them are in this tower.
Oh, you hurt yourself.
So you would need to come here to get it.
Right.
And even there are some perks, like I think the daiquiri one's actually at the top of the lighthouse. So, after you activate the power, then you have to cross all the way over, come back up, get the perks.
You have to run, Raj.
So I think that the power station's kind of like the initial, that's where you go through the first few waves, and then the tower is really where it comes down to holding. Or for holding for a while and transferring back and forth.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We have from Nate Dowdy. Are there character-specific melees?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've been kind of trying to figure this out for anyone just joining us.
It's all on you, Raj.
Because the trailer obviously showed some very specific, like pitchforks, machetes,
I'm kind of embarrassed.
kung fu even, I think, and a little bit of, flair to each character joining the team, but so far it's just knife kills that you've seen from the rest of Black Ops. So.
Yeah, and honestly, after the first couple of rounds, melee attacks become pretty difficult to use to any sort of effect.
Yeah. It's definitely the first 3 rounds or so where you can one-hit the zombies. Just
exactly, and kind of build a little extra points up to spend.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Hammerhead1399 asks, are there any new perks?
So the only new perk that I've seen, like I said, is that one that you get from the Deadshot Daiquiri, where you take that, and again, anytime you zoom in, you can snap to and do an instant headshot. Besides that, you have the return of the double tap root beer, the Juggernog, and the quick revive. And then, you also have the typical power-ups you can pick up, like double points, the nuke. Those all return.
Now, you may have just noticed our team managed 7 rounds this time, which isn't too shabby, because it does get really difficult when you have a giant, seemingly invincible George Romero chasing you through the level. And if you'll notice, if you did see the stats, they actually kind of held their own, I'd say.
And this was Bobby's first try, so he's going to get better, I'm sure, as the time goes on.
They left me behind, man. That's what
He did. He was left. You'll notice he was stuck at the power station when they were on the other side of the level.
They didn't tell me what button to press to do the launcher thing.
But yeah, the reason I like this one so much more is that even the loading screen just has so much more character than any of the other ones. Some of the other ones, they knew they were zombie things and they kind of took it, but this one kind of goes in that whole, Pulp Fiction sort of, grindhouse sort of appeal aesthetic that I really think is really cool.
And I noticed too, somebody had mentioned in their question, they still call it Nazi zombies, but I don't think there's specifically any National Socialism going on.
Yeah, I mean, the zombies you're fighting, I believe, are actually Russian. Yeah. So, but I mean, it was, in World at War, it was a Nazi zombie thing. At this point, it really is just Call of Duty
this time,
zombies.
don't leave me at the launcher thing.